guys, we are going to read My Little Book of Ocean Life. We are going to continue our unit on habitats and animals, and we're going to look at animals that are found in the ocean and freshwater, animals that are found in lakes around us. So that's what we're going to look at this week. So we are going to start with the sea anemone. The sea anemone is, we're actually going to start with the coral reef. And these are coral polyps, and they grow together in the coral reef. And they grow in sunny, warm places where the water is warm, and polyps have soft bodies, but they can build a skeleton around themselves to keep them safe. And they have tentacles, and they pull animals into their tentacles to eat them with their mouth. Then you have a sea anemone. This is like at the beginning of Finding Nemo, when Nemo's dad and mom, and they had all the baby fish, they were all hiding in an anemone. And they're soft and squishy animals, and they live on the seabed in shallow water. The tentacles cover them with, and then they have like stingers, and that's what they can hurt their prey with. And then they sting them and swallow them. A sea urchin is a prickly animal that has sharp spines to stop many animals from eating them. This crab uses the sea urchin to protect itself while it goes to hunt for food. And the sea urchins, they live on the bottom, and they move slowly along the rocks, eating small animals and algae. A starfish, they have 5 legs, and they have tiny feet on their arms, and they crawl along the seabed to hunt for food. We can call them sea stars, and they push out their stomach when they want to eat food, and they eat it like that. This is a blue starfish, and it's crawling over a soft ocean animal called a sponge. If they lose their arm, it grows a new one. A jellyfish. They have long, stringy tentacles, and they can grow to the height of a crane. They can't swim and guide themselves, so they just have to go where the ocean current takes them. And then when they're dark and deep in the ocean, they can light up like a neon color. It's very cool. And then they sting their prey, and then they eat them like that through their tentacles. A sea slug. Those are snails that live in the ocean. They do not have shells to protect their body. So their protection is, this is a blue dragon slug. And it's very beautiful, but the way it protects itself by having the bright colors, and it warns animals that they have a deadly poison. And so some slugs have stingers too. The shellfish, they live on the seabed all over the world. They usually live in shallow water and eat other animals. This is a giant clam, and it can grow over 3 feet tall. This is a conch, and it pokes its head out of its shell. And these shellfish are cousins of snails and octopuses. They have shells and tentacles, and they have a rough tongue that's covered with tiny teeth. The octopus, which is one of the smartest animals in the ocean. They have big brains and very good eyesight. This one's got blue rings on it to let you know it's got poison. And this is the Pacific giant octopus. It can grow 9 feet tall. Think about the tallest NBA player you can think of and add 1 to 2 feet. I don't know if there's any 8-foot players, but there's some that are a little bit taller than 7 foot. And so they have round bodies and large eyes right there. And they crawl along the seabed, and they're very good swimmers. So they grab fish with their arms and pull them in to eat them. They suck the little tentacles on them and then pull them in and eat them. This is a peacock mantis shrimp, and it is a stunning animal, and they are covered in beautiful colors. They're cousins to crabs and lobsters, and they live in warm, shallow water, and they hunt other animals. Their large legs are very powerful, and they're strong enough that they could break glass. Most shrimps are smaller than a little finger, but the peacock shrimp, it can grow up to 8 inches. So it can get, I'm not very good at my inches. It can get bigger than your pinky finger. A crab. It lives under the ocean, but They spend most of their time on the seashore too. So these animals have strong shell-like skin. They have 5 pairs of legs and they can run fast across the sandy beach. In the front of the crab's bodies are claws that they can use to catch other animals. This is a Japanese spider crab and it lives deep in the ocean. This is a Sally Lightfoot crab and it lives close to the top of the ocean and on the sand. And this is a fiddler crab and their eyes are long stalks right there. Then we have a lobster. A lobster can grow over 3 feet long, and like crabs, they have a tough outer skin and lots of legs. They live underwater and are good swimmers. They use their claws to grab fish and crack them open, shellfish, and eat the soft inside to a shellfish. When spiny lobsters migrate, they march along in a line on the seabed floor. So they all go together. A mackerel is a silvery fish that lives in huge groups. A group of fish is called a school or a shoal. Fish that live in big shoals often have silvery scales and dark stripes. They can swim very fast and they twist and turn to avoid other animals. Seabirds, whales, sharks, and other bony fish all hunt mackerels. So a coral fish. They live around coral reefs where there's plenty of food to eat and many places to hide. This is a lionfish, and it's got a big, sharp spines and a big mouth. This is a triggerfish, and it can nibble its prey and eat plants on the seabed. Fish have fins and scales, and most coral fish have bold colors and patterns. A seahorse. It has an unusual little fish and an unusual body. The shape makes it hard for them to swim. So they kind of have to glide or wrap their legs around seaweed so they're not swept away by the ocean's current. This is a leafy sea dragon and it carries its eggs on its tail. Seahorses the mother will lay the eggs in a special pouch and then on the father's tummy, and he'll carry them while they grow into baby seahorses. And baby seahorses are called a fry. A ray. Rays are flat fish and they can grow to an enormous size. Some manta rays are as big as a car. Look at that manta ray compared to that scuba diver. They can grow up to 22 feet wide and swim by flapping its big fins. They have long tails and wing-like fins. Their gills are on the underside of their body and they're good swimmers. They can take rest on the bottom of the sea, and look how they camouflage right in nicely to the sand. A shark. Sharks are fierce and powerful, and they hunt other ocean animals. There are 500 types of sharks. Most sharks use their amazing sense of smell to eat animals. The great white shark, we learned about that before we left. They have rows of teeth and 2 rows of sharp teeth. And then this is a hammerhead shark right there. The marine iguana. It's a lizard that lives on land, but these big lizards dive into the ocean. They can grow up to 3 feet tall and they can hold their breath underwater for up to an hour. Marine iguanas dive underwater so they can nibble on seaweed. And when they're not eating, they sunbathe on rocks. A sea snake. Most snakes slither along the ground, but sea snakes are really good swimmers. This is a banded sea crate, and it has a padded shape in the tail to help them swim as they hunt for fish, especially eels. The sea snake has to slither onto the land to lay its eggs. A turtle. Turtles can go on amazing journeys across the ocean. They travel to find food and to lay their eggs. After hatching their eggs, baby turtles walk to the sea. And this is a logger turtle, and it can grow up to 3 feet tall, and they can crush shellfish and crabs with their mouths. Logger turtles have large heads and strong jaws. They live in the sea, but they breathe air. A saltwater crocodile. Saltwater crocodiles are found when rivers pour into the ocean. And so they are the largest crocodiles in the world. Sometimes people call them salties, but they can breathe air. This crocodile can swim to the surface to breathe. A crocodile's snout is long and thin, and it contains about 66 sharp teeth. They hunt at night, and they eat birds and fish. A penguin. We've learned a lot about penguins lately. Penguins can live in very cold climates, or they can live in warm climates too. So penguins are ocean birds, and they're great swimmers. They have black and white feathers. This is a baby penguin, and it's small and fluffy. These are called macaroni penguins, and they have a crest of golden feathers. A penguin can swim far and deep to find food. Macaroni penguins live near the South Pole, where the water is very cold, and like all penguins, they hunt for fish in the ocean and lay their eggs on land. An albatross is a huge bird, and they spend most of their lives soaring above the ocean. They build a nest on land and look for their food together. The wingspan can measure more than 9 feet, and they are some of the largest flying birds in the world. They dive deep into the water to catch fish. Then we have sea otters. A sea otter has thick fur to keep them warm and cold. They spend most of their time in the ocean. A sea otter sometimes floats in a group, and that's called a raft, and they can even hold hands with each other. Sea otters wrap themselves in seaweed so they don't float away. Most sea otters live in rivers, but sea otters live in the Pacific Ocean. They even give birth in the water and look after their cubs. Seals are strong swimmers. They use their flippers and tails to speed through the ocean as they hunt for fish. A seal uses flippers to change directions. These mammals have thick layers of fat to keep them warm. Young seals are caught, and they feed on their mother's milk. A walrus has very heavy teeth. We looked at walruses when we read the book, What If We Had Animal Teeth Like That? And they live in cold Arctic Ocean. A walrus tusk can grow up to 3 feet. They have wrinkly pinkish brown skin, tusk and flippers, and they're very sensitive on their whiskers. And that's how they find shellfish on the seabed. They gather together in a colony like this to rest on land, and their tusks help heave them and push them along the slippery ice. A dolphin are small whales with long snouts, and they are called beaks. They are smart, friendly animals. They have long, slender bodies that are perfect shape for swimming fast in the world's ocean. They dive deep to find fish and squid to eat. They live in a family group called a pod. They may be hundreds of dolphins in one pod, and they swim to the surface when they need to breathe. A sperm whale. It's the world's largest hunter, and they eat octopus, fish, and squid. Although sperm whales breathe, they can stay underwater for up to 2 hours at a time. A sperm whale has the biggest brain of any animal that has ever lived. It dives deep into cold ocean water to find food, and they're about 50 feet long. They can weigh as much as 10 elephants. A blue whale is the largest animal that has ever lived on the earth. A blue whale's tongue is the size of an elephant. The tongue is the size of an elephant. Blue whales may be huge, but they eat tiny ocean animals called krill, which are very much like shrimp. They open their mouths and suck in water and gulp down all the krill that a mouthful can handle. A baby blue whale is called a calf, and it drinks milk from its mom. They have a blowhole where they breathe out of their air out, and that can shoot the water up to 30 feet into the air. And that is all that we have on ocean animals. So I'm going to leave you a little video to watch a little bit more about the ocean and saltwater habitats. And I hope you are having a good day.